first, what is research before we talk about designing action research? What is research? So research, what we understand is a systematic process. It is not a haphazard way of gathering information. It is not at random start collecting data. No, it is a systematic process of inquiry. We are inquiring into some problem, inquiring into some area of study, and hence we systematically design. And the aim is aimed at discovering, interpreting, and revising facts, events, behaviors, and theories. Now, very comprehensive definition given in this sentence, and I read this for you again. Research is a systematic process of inquiry aimed at discovering, interpreting, or revising facts, events, behaviors, or theories. Now, whether you are trying to ascertain that the facts presented are valid, whether you are going to find out that the events which are narrated to us takes the same shape, or whether we are trying to investigate a certain type of desirable or undesirable behavior, or we are going to question the already theories which are being practiced, we carry out a systematic process of inquiry. So it involves what we have to do in that. It involves collecting data. Not only we collect data, but we analyze the information which is coming through that data. And then analyzing that information, we present our findings and making recommendations on that particular phenomena or that particular behavior or that particular situation. Now, after defining what is research, let's talk what is action research. Action research is a process in which participants examine their own educational practice systematically and uh, carefully, systematically and carefully, using the techniques of research. What you have to note here is that participants examine their own educational practice. I repeat it for you. Action research, those who are researching, they are the participants in the research. They examine their own educational practice. That means teachers are doing action research in order to find out the way they are teaching, the way the class is behaving, the way the techniques, approaches, or methodologies are being used. So we can call it a disciplined process of inquiry conducted by and for those taking the action. Again, this sentence is very important, and I repeat it for you. It is the process of inquiry conducted by and for those taking the action, those who are carrying out the research, those who are carrying the action. This whole process of inquiry is being generated for themselves, for their own self, for their own sake. They are going through the actions which they perform and to investigate how well they are or how in the right direction they are. The primary reason for engaging in action research is to assist the actor in improving or redefining his or reaction actions. Now, getting back to the very basics, research has been going on for centuries. But this word action research is of recent origin, mind you. Research we are carrying on for centuries, but action research is a word which was coined by Kurt Lewin. He was a German American socio psychologist, and he is considered to be the presenter of the term action research. And he first used this term in 1940s. Action research is the process of finding the solution through power problem solving techniques. And the expected outcome of the action research, which addresses the issues, improves the practice. It is done in groups during the activity is in progress. And action research is a process of inquiry. We have said it again and again on every second slide. This sentence you would find, this phrase you would find that action research is a process of inquiry and investigation, which is done by the person who is being affected, who is doing that sort of particular job, and to improve his own job, that man who is involved in that job, he goes for the research. So, what is the scope of AR? AR means action research. First is understanding students. What are the factors related to students, their behaviors and characteristics? Since the teacher is immediately concerned with his class of students, so to understand their behavior, to understand their characteristics, if some questions are investigated, they are inquired, that is within the scope of action research. In that, we ascertain the react readiness of teaching a particular concept or principle in a particular subject. We also discuss matters relating to gender difference in interest towards a subject. Which subject girls like, which subjects boys like, reasons of shyness in a classroom for a subject, cause of truancy in a subject. These are truancy means why student remains absent from the class or run away from the class. And if some students are shy in the class, what are the reasons for that? And performance of children in a particular subject with or without private tuition, and then comparison of performance in a subject of normal children with those belonging to the disadvantaged group. That was one segment within the scope of action research. Another big segment is roles and functions of teachers. That segment, the first segment which we have just discussed, related to the students, this segment relates to the teachers themselves. And in this, we ask questions like effect of incentive on the development of improvised aids in particular subject, then teachers' problems in teaching a particular subject at primary level, secondary level, and higher secondary level. Then quality of teaching, pupil interaction, and pupils' interest in the learning of subject. What are different subjects? What are the liking and disliking of different interest and disinterest of pupils in different subjects? Then similarly, what problems teachers face in teaching certain subjects, teachers' personality and teachers' pupil interaction, then comparisons of quality of interaction in classes of particular subject. And then another question may be teachers applying experience gained by them in service training in particular subject. That means how efficient was the in service training given to the students, so for the teachers for a particular subject. Then another type of questions which are investigated in action research, that is third main segment, that is school climate and infrastructure, meaning by factors relating to school climate. School climate doesn't mean in physical terms. School climate means the working environment in school. So changing sitting order in classroom and span of attention in solving mathematical problems. If you change the seating arrangement, what does it, how does it affect? Effect of closed and open air classrooms on increasing interest in a particular subject. Changing time of mathematical periods and interest. And similarly, subject like curricular and co-curricular practices management of classroom activities with children of wide-ranging abilities. Similarly, pupils' performance on different types of test items on the same content, and then effects of peer teaching, the class fellows teaching one another, and the effects of different remedial measures in removing learning difficulties. What we do in action research now, actually we are, after studying the scope of action research, we have moved into action research. We first, what we do, we, and this is what how we design action research. Step one is identify, and I'm starting from top extreme left. Identify a problem, and then we raise a question. Number two, then we make a plan, and then we execute your plan, and then we start collecting data, and then once the data has come, we start reflecting over the data, and then we revise and recollect the required information, and then whatever our final recommendations are or finding are, we share it with the people, and this cycle continues. Now, phases of research, action research. Phases of action research are, as I said in the previous slide also, first is identifying problem. Second is collecting data. Third is evaluating existing data. And the fourth is action data. Designing action research. In that, you have just seen two slides where the steps were given. Now we are going to go a little detail about the designing action research. Any question before I move on? I hope you are clear about the concept of action research. What is action research? If action research is a new term, I have not said action research is a new term. I told you exactly. Action research was started in 1940s. So 1940s, and now new term. How come it becomes new term? 86 years before it was introduced. Right. We move on. Designing action research. Identification of problem is number one. What elements of your practice or what aspects of students' learning do you wish to investigate? First is identification of the problem. I showed you two slides on that. So in that, if you want to go further in detail, you would identify what elements of your practice or what aspect of students' learning do you wish to investigate? What in real sense do you want to improve? What is the matter of concern that is not up to your expectation? And three major problem areas of teachers' research can be instructional challenges, student learning issues, classroom management. Now, instructional challenges means methodologies of teaching, teaching techniques, teaching strategies, student learning issues, what are the learning difficulties students have, and a classroom management is the how to manage the class so that the teaching learning process goes effectively. Second important step we talked about was collect data on the problem. Once the problem is identified, next come data collection. There are numerous ways of data collection, and it can be done through observation with checklist, through discussion with other teachers, parents' feedback on the questionnaire, or data from classroom management can be derived from recording a classroom day or lesson. So there are different ways the data which is required by the teachers for action research can be found. And one is that one can observe personally. The other is one can take it from the colleagues, and then the parents' feedback also is the source of taking that data. Data collection techniques, there are the three E's. That means you experience yourself. Second is you inquire, experience yourself. That means you observe yourself. This is observation. Inquiring means you ask a question, give questionnaire or interview. And examine is that you try to search from various resources and try to find out the data. Then verification and analysis. Whatever data you collect, as a researcher, you must know that data is valid and reliable. So a right tool that is valid and reliable information must be used before developing and implementing an action plan. Then a reflection is the most important step, because that is why we are carrying out this action research, that we are collecting data from different resources through different means. And once the raw data is available in front of us, now that raw data is to be sifted and analyzed by using various statistical tools, and then you have to reflect on it. So once the problem and its relevant data is analyzed, the researcher reflects with the lens of personal experience. Obviously, the researcher might be having some experiences, old experiences, past experiences. He employs that also. Consultation with experts, and then literature which is already available on that particular topic. You must have seen a different research paper which start with, in fact, literature review of the literature. Now, last step in action research is action plan. Action plan. Once you have gone through all the steps, that is, you identified the problem, you then made an hypothesis, then you started collecting the data, then you started analyzing the data, then you started reflecting the data, then you started making the findings and recommendation. Now it is the time to have the action plan, a strategic plan of day or weeks or months, not just to have a plan, but to implement, revise, and repeat. Now, that plan, action plan, put into action, observed, then refined, then put into action, then revised, refined, and this action continues. When implementing, we will again start observing the process and in case of success or failure, recollect the data. Now, this is a key slide here in front of you. Let me show you again. If you understand that, that means you have understood whole the process. Action research by Sean's theory. What you do, start from the top. You have reflected. You have reflected, then you have made an action plan. Second arrow is action plan. Third is act. You actually act. See, then once you have acted, then you observe. Observe things being done. Then you, after the observation, you again reflect that some things might have gone right, other things might have gone wrong. So you set the wrong things right again, and after reflection, and then plan again, then down to the second chain, act again, and then observe, and so reflect. This chain process goes on and on and on, and action research, it takes